Coach, style of play, who are players to watch for K-State?
Well, the big three is their point guard, Tyler Perry, and then their two wings, Cam Carter and Arthur Kaluma. Um, they have great size up front in Gassan and McNair. Gassan 6'8", 6'9", McNair 6'11", 7 foot. And they bring really good size off the bench, and Colbert, another 6'10" kid. Bring finisher off the bench, RJ Jones, shooter, Dede Ames, who's a left-handed playmaker. They have really good depth. Their starting group is best player is probably Kaluma. He presents the hardest matchup. But Tyler Perry is a lot like LJ, and that he's a little powder keg, prolific three-point shooter, great range. And Tane runs a lot of good stuff for him. And like all the teams in the league, they have a good plan, really, really well coached. K-State's good. You know, in this league, you sign up for 40 minutes every game. And that's why going into these games, you've got to be so focused on the scouting report. Pay attention to the details. We're closing out short on this guy, long on this guy, making sure all the things that we emphasize. And that's a good thing about freshmen is, JoJo for a long time was just operating on just sheer energy. He had no idea what he was doing. But now as we get into the end of January, February, he's starting to ask good questions. That tells me things are starting to connect for him. But every game is a war. So nothing changes for us. It's our next game, which is the most important game. And I'm sure Tang feels the same way.
We'll go to Matt Musil with KHOU. Matt, please go ahead.
Hey, Kelvin, congratulations on a really nice win at BYU. Okay, full disclosure, I don't know if you remember this, but I've told you this a number of times. I'm a K-State grad, so be careful, be nice to Jerome and the guys. Don't be too hard on him. Following up on what you said about JoJo, he's doing such a great job of getting into your system, like you say, he's figured it out. As a team in a whole, you talked a little bit about after Iowa State and TCU, these guys have to realize this is the Big 12, and every game, like you just said, is a war. Are they getting more into that mode? Because it looked like they really were the way they went out up in the mountains there at BYU.
We probably don't talk about that at all. Every game that we played here has always been the same for us. Our kids are not oblivious. I don't know what they read or what they hear on the outside, but I know what they hear from me, and that's the voice they pay attention to. I never talk about the Big 12. We talk about how good this team is. It's like being in an NCAA tournament. One year you're playing UAB, champion of their league. Next game you're playing the Big 10 champion Illinois. The next game you're playing the Pac-12 champion Arizona. The next game you're playing the Big East champion Villanova. Or you're playing the hottest team in the Pac-12 in Oregon State, Rutgers, Syracuse. We've been doing this stuff for a long time. The difference is we're in the NCAA tournament now. Because all these games are whatever round they are. And I think that's why the Big 12 teams do so well in the tournament. They play a tournament schedule. But we never talk about we're in the Big 12. We just talk about our next game.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, Is there extra pressure because you turn around 2 days later and then play in Austin?
No, that's our next game. I don't have storylines or think outside anything that you guys remotely think about. I don't think that way. We know Kansas State's actions that they try to run. We know they're tough. They're really, really talented. We got to be ready for when they do this, this, and this. That's the world I live in. I don't live in any other kind of world. I don't think any at all about what's ahead of me. I focus solely on what's in front of me. And if you look at our record and our schedule over the last 10 years, that'll kind of tell you how we approach things.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. We'll go to Chancellor Johnson with KPRC. Go ahead, Chancellor.
Hey, Kelvin. Typically you don't really see like three players on a team that can kind of go out there and get themselves a bucket at any time. How challenging is that when you're facing off a team like Kansas State and the challenge that they present for your defense with their type of scores they have on their ball club?
Yeah, that is a challenge. What is Jeff? What's our record in the conference?
4-2, sir.
Okay, so we played 6 Big 12 games. We played at Xavier. We played at Dayton, who everybody's now starting to figure out how good they are. We kind of knew it the night we played them. Texas A&M in Houston. Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Maybe it's because I'm not very smart and I can't think outside of what I'm doing, but I just never worry about half the stuff you guys talk about. I mean, I know you guys have nothing to do but to think in February, March. I don't live in that world. Every team we play can beat us. And I think we can beat them too. But all of them's capable of beating us. There's no games in this league. It'd be kind of stupid to me to start thinking about the next game when we can lose this one, wouldn't it? That's not the way I operate. Look at Kansas State. I think their record, I think they've lost 2 league games. I haven't really looked at standings or anything lately, but I'm assuming there's about 10 teams all about the same in the league as far as records, right? Well, that's why you don't ever think ahead. You lose the game you're playing. Why would you think of anything else? I know I don't. But Perry, Carter, and Kaluma, Chancellor, they're a problem. But you're going to ask me the same thing the next team we play and the team after that and the team after that. They're all like that. They all got a top 3. They're all loaded. They're all athletic. They all have great size. So it's just take them as they come. Most important game on our schedule is this one. And when this one's over, next game on our schedule is the next one. And then the next one. They're all the same.
Cool. And on a separate note,
ahead,
obviously in order to win ball games, you have to be able to make shots. How nice was it to have Damian Dunn against BYU come off the bench and hit a couple jumpers for you and what he can continue to build on off of that game?
Well, I just like his body language and his confidence. Easiest kid to motivate are kids with the highest self-esteem. Damian had a good shoot around. We're encouraging him to be more aggressive, but to take his shot. Some guys that focus on playing from off shot fakes and play around and want to get to the free throw line, where their game revolves around getting to the free throw line. A lot of times they'll shot fake themselves out of an open shot just so they can get to what they want to do. But we sit Damian down and show him film of when he's open. And his shot preparation. The great shooters get all their work done prior to the catch. So when the ball hits their hands, they're into their shot. Whereas a guy that depends on the shot fake, doesn't do any of that. So he's never ready to shoot. He's ready to shot fake. But you're as coaches, we're all studying our players and how we can help them, because by helping them, they're helping the team. And I thought Damian's shot preparation the other night was much better. He was locked in on his hands and his feet, his balance, getting squared up, all the things that crazy basketball coaches try to teach. Thought he was better at that. And what that means going forward, I have no idea.
Thank you, Chancellor. We'll go to Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle. Joseph, please go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning.
Kelvin, just checking. How's J1 doing in terms of after games? What you hear from him in terms of how he feels with that knee.
It's a maintenance issue, I think. Joseph, I mean, it's just something that he's having to deal with. J1's had some really good games, and if he's not right, it's usually has something to do with that. I think we got back about 4:00 from Utah the other morning. What night was that? Tuesday. So Wednesday was a day off. It was a scheduled mandatory day off. He has to stay in the there's two guys that spend the most time in the training room, and it's Terrence Arsenault and J1 Roberts. The problem is they both play the same position, and most of you guys have already forgotten about Terrence. You don't even think about him. So as we drop down to the next guy and then the next guy, I get that next man up thing, but the next man up may not be as good as the man he replaced. So let's not act like they're all the same. I don't buy into that theory. It is the next man up. That sounds good, but reality of that situation is we miss Terrence. We don't have him, and we planned on it. I'm sure the prognosticators, when they looked at this team, it was with Terrence in there. Well, we don't have him, so we're having to make adjustments. But there's 360 some odd teams. We all have to do it. We are not unique in any way. That's why my message to my team at some point during the time that I'm with them every day is the importance of being humble and continue to work hard. You show me a man that's not humble, I'm going to show you a man that's getting ready to get humbled. So there's not a team that can't beat us, and there's not a team that we can't play with. And now whether we can beat them all, I don't know. But I know they all can beat us. We've had 3 really close games. We were in a position to win all 3, but we're also in a position to lose all 3. And so you go back to your team and look at the mistakes you're making and how we can get better from those, and just keep working hard. Stay humble and keep working hard. That's what we do.
We'll go back to Chris Gardner. Go ahead, Chris.
Coach, you tell us you like your team to get better month to month. Where, in your assessment, where's the team right now as we head into February?
I think we're getting better. The Terrence thing threw me back because we had to figure out another thing if the next thing wasn't working. So you're always having to figure out, okay, we've gone from A to B. Okay, what's B to C now? C may not have been in the picture for 4 months. All of a sudden, C is a reality. So we have to get ready for that reality. So I spend X amount of time every day. This lineup or that lineup. You're always having to play checkers sometime with your lineups, and when teams do certain things against us, we have to be prepared for it. But we're a better team now than we were in early January. But this league forces every team to be better. You better be getting better. If you're not, you're going to be left behind.
We'll go back to Joseph Duarte. Joseph, please go ahead.
Kelvin, from your experience through the years on the road, what makes a really good home court advantage? What separates the good venues from the great ones, or the great ones from the good ones?
Kind of like new money and old money. You know, old money has had a lot of success for a long time. They're used to winning. You know, I think one of the true meccas in the history of this game is Allen Fieldhouse. I think they're a standard bearer. Now you got a lot of programs like us that's kind of like new money. You know, the Fertitta Center is new. You know, Phi Slamma Jamma back in the early 80s came and went. And then when it was over, Houston basketball was basically what it was. You know, whatever you want to call it is what it was. And all of a sudden now we're kind of a new money. You can talk about Phi Slamma Jamma all you want to. That came and went. That was in the big picture, that was a small period of time that Houston was at the top of the country with excitement, talent, eyes. But around 85, 86, 87, somewhere in there, it lost. It got lost somewhere, especially when the Southwest Conference disbanded. So now we got a new arena. The jump ball with Bo and Breon Brady, December 1st, 2018. So from 2018 until now, our program has continued through every class. Classes come and go, but our program has been consistently good for a long time now. From 2018, now we're in 2014. We've been part of the national basketball landscape, but we're still a little bit like new money. And there's the old money crowds, there's an expectation for success. We're a new money team like Houston. We're excited about our success. And I see our fans getting better. They're learning when to let's go. We need you. You know, old money schools, teams that, you know, the Kansases and the North Carolinas and that those blue bloods. Indiana was like that. In Indiana, their fan base just knew. They knew when to go. The coaches don't have to stand up and get them up. We're still learning that, but we're getting a lot better at it. You know, crowds at the great programs are driven by their students. You know, our students have gotten a lot better. And being in the Big 12, I think, is bringing the best out of us because we're all in this together. It's not just the basketball team. You know, that home court advantage, I think our kids' eyes got opened up, even though, you know, we played some great venues at Virginia, at Oregon, at LSU. You know, we've been to some, you know, really at Xavier. That Xavier crowd was unbelievable. Kids were camping out. But, you know, we're doing it on a regular basis now. I've been to Hilton Coliseum, I don't know how many times, through 3 different coaches, Tim Floyd, Larry Eustace, and Wayne. There's 3. And so TJ is the 4th coach I coached against in that building. Hilton Magic is real. And so that was our first road game. And I think there was a learning curve there for us. You know, it was 10 degrees outside. There's, I don't know how many inches of snow. We walk in there. At most schools, you walk into that kind of weather, is half full. Well, they don't understand how great Iowa State's fans are. I mean, that place was almost packed. I don't know if it was, but okay, instead of 14,500, let's say there's 13,900. Come on now, we're counting pennies. But that was an eye-opening experience for our guys to be up there in that environment and see the commitment. Because not every fan base would have done what Iowa State did. You know, they would have used that as an excuse not to go. You know, and if you're looking for an excuse not to go, most people don't need weather to find it. But that weather and that day walking on that ice and snowing and cold, and then walking into Hilton Coliseum. That's what Hilton Magic is all about. I think it's one of the great historic old money, great tradition venues in our league, in the country. You know, you can talk about Kansas. The difference in Kansas and Iowa State is probably success at the highest level over a period of time. But in terms of a fan base, Iowa State fans don't take a backseat to anybody. And they've been doing it for a long time. The coach before Tim Floyd was Johnny Orr. Hilton Magic is real, man. When that kid hit that turnaround shot with J1 and Jamal draped over him with 30 seconds to go in that game. I've lost some games in that building. That's not the first time Hilton Magic got us, but that's this league. And I think whether it's the media or the fans or our team or coaching staff, we'll learn about the Big 12 as we go. That there is a learning curve for the teams coming in. And that's why every game is a season into itself. It's like Christmas morning, you go in and look at your gifts. You don't know what they are, but the first one, you're excited about that one. Not the fourth one you got over there on the other side is this one, because you don't know what it is. And you have to be, and I'm excited. Then the next gift and the next gift. And that's kind of like what the Big 12 season is every team we play is an entity in itself, and they're a handful. But the old money schools, and we got a lot of them in this league. Those old Gallagher Iba days at Oklahoma State with Coach Sutton. Those are the most transformative games I've ever coached in my life. There was I couldn't describe what that 6,500, 6,600 seat Gallagher Iba Arena was like. It's the loudest, toughest crowd I've ever coached in front of. Until you go to Iowa State, until you go to Kansas, until you go to Kansas State, until you go to Missouri. This is real. So now Cincinnati is another program that has great tradition. They're kind of an old money school with their fan base. They got great fans. BYU didn't surprise me. That's the third time I coached in that building, but that was by far the best fan base I've ever. The best BYU fan base that I've seen, and I was impressed with their game management and all the things they did with their students, shooting free throws at that end of the floor. It was like, I don't know, it was like being at a carnival and you got 10 things going on at the same time. But our kids did a good job of handling that. So you go from playing at Iowa State, at TCU, at BYU, and then you look at the next games coming up. This league's a monster, man. It is a monster.